Good morning and thank you for joining us. It's meteorologist Michael Fecka and we're here for our 8:30 in the morning streaming update we do here every day, Monday through Friday. We'll start off with a look at our forecast and then we'll transition over to our news headlines for the day with Casey and Mitch. So don't go anywhere. You'll get your fill of news and weather through this entire stream. But let's get started here with a look at our weather headlines. So we've been tracking out that rain all of this week and we've had rain almost every single day up until today, and that was very beneficial for us. We picked up several inches, and I'll actually break down what that did to our drought monitor coming up in just a bit. But we are now sunny. We have high pressure that's built in, and we're going to stay quiet, dry, and sunny through the weekend, and we'll also even remain dry with warmer temperatures through much of next week. So here's a look at our currents right now. We have warmed all the way up to around 60 here in Evansville and Newburgh. We did start out in the mid 50s, some spots even in the lower 50s. So it was a fairly chilly morning, especially because we were so used to waking up to temps in the mid 60s. So maybe grabbing that jacket or a sweatshirt as you head out the door today wouldn't be a bad idea, but I think you won't need it once we get into this afternoon. And looking at our Doppler radar over the last 12 hours, we've been dry here and we're expecting to stay dry through the rest of the day today. So we are expecting sunny skies, temperatures climb all the way up into the upper 70s to around 80 degrees. Winds will be out of the north between 3 to 6 miles per hour. And then as we get into tonight, we'll stay quiet with mostly clear skies. Temperatures drop back down into the mid 50s. So another chilly start to tomorrow, but it's actually around average for this time of year. We've just been so warm recently that it feels a little different, but it is actually quite normal for our lows to be in the 50s in the month of September and going into October. But taking a look at our month so far in terms of precipitation for September, we had very, very little going in through much of the month. It really wasn't until this past week that we picked up most of our rainfall for the month of September, and the most rain actually fell on the 22nd. We picked up just shy of 2.5 inches at the Evansville Airport rain gauge, but over the last several days, we've picked up over 3.5 inches, actually closer to 3.7 inches of rainfall. Now, it was beneficial. It helped us out. It made the grass green again. It washed off our cars, and it definitely helped us a little bit. But this is the current drought monitor, and you'll notice it really doesn't look all that better. And that's because while we did see slight improvements, some of the severe drought was pushed back just a touch in western Kentucky and also shrunk a little bit in southern Illinois. But much of the region's still under moderate drought conditions. So even with all that rain, it didn't really help us out too much. Now, I will say the drought monitor takes into account everything up until Tuesday, and then they take Wednesday to analyze it, and then they release it on Thursday. So whatever fell on Wednesday is not included in this drought monitor. So that would have definitely helped us out a little bit more, but still this didn't eradicate the drought by any means, but it did help lift most of the burn bans in southern Indiana and western Kentucky. There are no current bans in either of those states. The only ones that we have left that are still out are Edwards and White County in southern Illinois. So that's where you still can't really have any open fires, bonfires, or anything like that. However, if you are in southern Indiana or western Kentucky, you'll be able to enjoy maybe a bonfire tonight after your high school football game. But looking at the weekend forecast, plenty of sunshine for Saturday and Sunday. You'll notice the only real change here we have over the next 3 days is going to be that increase in temperature. So we start out today topping out in the low 80s, but we'll climb through the 80s to around 86 by the time we get into Sunday, and we'll even hold into the mid 80s for the start of next week. Now, while we are warming up, we're also staying dry. The precipitation outlook for October 2nd through the 6th showing us that we'll likely have below average precipitation. So looking at our rain chances through the next 7 days, you'll see they go down to around 0 here, at least through the weekend and into the start of next week. We do have some slight chances for a few stray showers possible once we get into the middle and end of next week, and that actually may be influenced by those tropical systems that we have down in the Atlantic. So let's go ahead and take a look over there. So we do have what was Tropical Storm Umberto early this morning. In fact, when I got into the station, it was still a tropical storm. However, during the morning shows today, it strengthened into a Category 1 hurricane with now sustained wind speeds of 75 miles per hour. Its pressure dropped, I think it was actually around 10:03 millibars yesterday, so it's dropped down to around 990 this morning. And then we also have this other area that the National Hurricane Center is particularly interested in. It's giving it a 90% chance of development, and at the same time that this storm develops, Humberto is also going to be nearing its path. So these two storms are going to interact with each other, and what happens when they interact with each other will determine what we see happen here in the tri-state. So they're going to do a little bit of a dance. So looking at our European model, through now until next week, I want you to pull your focus off to the southeast coast there. Notice we have high pressure built in over the tri-state right now, and that's going to stick with us through the weekend, Saturday and Sunday, and even into Monday. But take a look down here off the coast of Florida. We've got Hurricane Humberto, and then we've got this other unnamed storm. And when these storms get close enough together, they oftentimes start to rotate around each other. Now, it depends on which one is stronger. Is Humberto going to be stronger than this storm? It looks likely. So if that were to be the case, then this storm would be rotating around Humberto, which would send it in a different direction and perhaps maybe even send it a little bit farther away from inland areas as opposed to farther in. If we start to see this track farther inland with that big push of rain, we may see some of those clouds and a few stray showers work their way into our neck of the woods by the middle of next week. But if it doesn't get pushed in as much, then we stay completely dry. And even then, even if this storm does get really pushed far inland, that high pressure system in place is going to do a lot of work to keep it away from us. So even if we do see any rain, it is going to be very, very isolated and, essentially really nothing for us here. So not expecting a very wet week ahead. So we're probably just going to enter another dry and warm pattern through all of next week. And looking at our temperatures here, outlook to remain above average. Let's take a look at those temps. Our average high for this time of year is typically around 78 degrees. So upper 70s, right around 80 is normal. We'll be near normal today, but then we'll climb back up above average through the weekend there, topping out in mid 80s for Sunday and on Monday. And then we could gradually cool down there with the presence of some clouds back down into the lower 80s, but still hanging out either above average or right around average. And then our morning lows, I mentioned before, our average low is 55 degrees, and that's what we've been getting this morning and tomorrow morning, and it feels chillier than what we're used to because we're so used to waking up to temperatures in the 60s, and that's kind of been the theme so far this year. So we are going to warm up. We're going to stay dry here at least through Monday into Tuesday. There is that slight chance for a stray shower as we get into Wednesday. But that's all I've got here for your forecast. But don't go anywhere yet. We're going to switch things over to Casey and Mitch for a look at your news headlines.
Throughout the day by watching the 14 First Alert streaming shows. At 8:30 a.m., get your First Alert forecast to plan the day ahead and catch up on the news that happened overnight with the 14 News Sunrise team. In the afternoon, get the latest headlines, forecasts, and a preview of the stories we're working on with the 14 First Alert streaming show at 2:30. And get an in-depth look at the 14 First Alert forecast so you're ready for the next big thing with the 14 First Alert weather show at 9 p.m. Watch the 14 First Alert streaming show that fits your schedule and works best for you. Streaming on your phone by downloading the 14 News app and the 14 First Alert weather app. On your smart TV by using the 14 News streaming app. And stream anytime on Facebook, YouTube, or on 14news.com. Stay connected and stay informed by watching the 14 First Alert streaming shows on your favorite streaming devices.
Well, good morning, and thanks for joining us here for the news portion of your 8:30 stream show. I'm Mitch Carter.
That's right. I'm Casey Mason. Of course, it is Friday, September 26th. We are so happy to have made it to Friday. Michael Fecca breaking down the weather headlines. It's overall going to be a beautiful weekend out there.
It is. A nice change of pace from the wetness we've seen out there recently. And we've got a couple of stories for you. You know how this goes. Pull a couple of headlines, get you in and out, especially on a Friday. So kicking things off here, an update on a major traffic alert here for those who commute between the Rockport and Owensboro area. You know this one here. Drivers who are looking forward to the reopening of that Blue Bridge, unfortunately, you're going to have to wait just a tad longer. KYTC leaders say contractors told them they are not going to make that original October 1st deadline. Contractors say they're going to need more than the expected 90 days to repair the bridge deck and the joints. KYTC leaders say that delay is due to supply chain issues. So they are out there working, doing their thing, but of course, as we know, we've seen this for years now. That can happen where materials are hard to come by, stuff like that. It's going to be a little while longer yet. Officials say, though, they are working closely with contractors to get that bridge open as soon as possible.
That's right. And of course, we've also been tracking these burn bans across all 3 states here in our viewing area. Following all that rain that we've gotten these past couple of days across the tri-state, we were glad to get some of it because of this reason. We now know that some of those burn bans have been lifted. So right now in Illinois, we know Edwards and White County, they still have a burn ban. However, all the burn bans in our Indiana and also in our Kentucky counties have officially been lifted. Once the bans in Illinois are lifted, we'll be sure to keep you up to date and let you know that.
Absolutely. And shifting gears here, a nice Friday story to wrap things up. Looking ahead in Evansville, we are just 10 days away now from the start, if you can believe it, of the Westside Nut Club Fall Festival. Now, first responders, you see right there on your screen, working hard behind the scenes to keep everybody safe out there. This week, we saw several agencies meet together to prepare for the event. You know, leaders of the Evansville Fire Department say working together helps ensure they can all respond quickly if they're needed, and everybody can please, in the meantime, just focus on enjoying all the fun. Okay. Of course, this year's festival starting on Monday, October 6th. That's so close by.
I know. I'm so excited. I cannot wait. It's my kind of first time being back in the tri-state. Grew up going to the Fall Fest, moved away for a couple years. Glad to be back. And my first time being with 14 News covering the Fall Fest. And from what I can tell, we blow it up, guys. We do a lot of coverage on the Fall Fest.
That's right. We'll have live interviews on Sunrise, live interviews, I'm assuming, during the midday portions. In the evenings, of course, we'll have the entire crew out and about. They do a lot of live weather down there with Jeff Lyons. Byron will probably join us in the morning live a couple times. So always very fun. It's a big time community event there. Everybody comes out and enjoys all their favorites there, and we like to kind of get in the spirit as well here at 14 News.
And of course, we've been doing the Fat Bear Week update over in Alaska, and I was like, I may have a Fat Bear Week after covering the Fall Fest and eating all the fried food.
Absolutely.
So we'll have a Fall Fest fried food week for sure.
Definitely.
So I'm looking forward to it.
But for right now, I mean, like I said, 8:42, pulled a couple quick headlines for you guys, and a couple folks are watching. Suzanne, good morning to you. Other than that, I think, unless you've got anything you want to add.
Just going to add that next week, Monday through Wednesday, I will not be in the house. This guy's going to hold it down solo. I'm going on a little getaway with my family. So, but I'll be back Thursday in action.
It's going to be a boys' day.
I
know. Boys' days. It'll be all right.
We'll
wait
Byron
for you.
We'll be back Tuesday.
Yes.
So yeah, it'll be. You guys have fun.
Cool.
I will. I'll miss you guys, but I'll be glad to be off for a couple
I'm
days.
sure you'll miss us dearly when you're not in the building. It'll be all right. Right now, like I said, 8:42 cut up on 8:43. For those that are joining us this morning, we appreciate you. Go out there and enjoy that sunny, dry weather for your Friday. Should be a great weekend. And we'll see you guys back here bright and early on Monday.
See you guys. Have a great weekend.